Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm going to be your host and producer this evening, Logan Landers, and joining me to preview, yes, we're finally in game preview mode, previewing the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Indiana Hoosiers, is my man, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Logan Landers? Go
Uh,
Buckeyes! The Ohio State Buckeyes.
That's it. Gotta get it right. It is not Ohio State. It is the Ohio State. Gotta get it right with that. Once again, if you like the video, if you like this game preview, please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. We have tons of episodes, interviews, player profiles, you name it. And of course, a lot of game previews coming down the pipeline. We are going to have it on the channel, of course, on our Facebook, our YouTube channel, and you can listen to it audio on thanks to the Believe Podcast Network on anywhere you listen to podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever it is you enjoy listening to your shows. So let's get into it, talking some game previews, talking more so just the key factors. Who is going to win this game? Who is going to stand out and help out the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Indiana Hoosiers? We're going to start off with the Buckeyes first and foremost. Well, CJ Stroud, he is no longer there, as we know. In steps in the junior, Kyle McCord. Very interesting young man. We'll see what he can do in his first game. And it is going to help that he has a very, very strong wide receiving core with Emeka Egbuka, of course, with some other guys as well. You have just tremendous running back core. I mean, we've talked about this team ad nauseum in terms of just how talented they are. You got Travion Henderson, who's been an absolute stud. Of course, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. Got to throw him in there, show him some love. Xavier Johnson also helping out. And this is just a stacked team on offense. This team can put up a lot of yards in a short amount of time, and they're going to be definitely putting up a lot of points. Definitely, got to give a shout out to Julian Fleming as well, helping out at that wide receiver core. And tight end, you got Cade Stover, big 6'4" senior, coming in at 255, looking good for there. You got the big guys up front, Josh Simmons, who's going to be doing his thing, Donovan Jackson, and a few others like Carson Hinsman, and of course, Josh Fryer, the big senior, standing at 6 foot 6 inches, weighing in at, this guy did not miss any meals, 320 pounds. So we're rolling well with this offense team for Ohio State. And the defense, they are looking stacked as well. So keys for the Ohio State Buckeyes, if they want to win this game, just get McCord, have him be just relaxed coming into this first game. Like I said, opening day, anything can happen. There's a lot of questions around this team, a lot of potential. But I think the big key for Ohio State is on offense. You have to have Kyle McCord, have to have him relaxed, not have him throwing too deep of passes early on. But it wouldn't surprise me one bit, Vincent, early on in the game, they go deep and maybe, just maybe, they try and shock that Indiana Hoosiers defense early on in the game. I think you definitely go with the running backs a little bit early in the game. Once McCord gets comfortable, then you can roll with him and then see what he can do. But let's talk about this team. I think they're going to look really well. For the defense, pretty simple. Just get to the quarterback. You got, I think, early in the season, especially, weeks probably 1, 2, 3, you're going to have teams who are going to be a little careless with the football. They're maybe not going to have the tightest grip. They're going to be looking all around the place, trying to get some deep passes in some tight coverage areas. Definitely go and try and win the turnover battle if you are the Ohio State Buckeyes as well. So those are my keys for Ohio State. If you want to win that one, big one for me, you got to keep Kyle McCord upright, and you have to go and make him comfortable if you want to succeed on offense. Defense, pretty self-explanatory. Get some turnovers early on week 1. I know this team can do it. Mr. Turner, what do you think about this team? How is Ohio State going to fare in week 1?
Okay, the keys to winning for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Over the last few years, they've been one of the premier programs in college football, and the reason why at the quarterback position. Kyle McCord, the young man out of Philly, as you just mentioned, all he's got to be is Troy Smith, Rex Kern, Greg Kempsel, and the guy who's replacing CJ Stroud. What I mean by that, let the game come to you and make plays, because you got superstars on the outside. Oh, my bad. I mean playmakers at a high level. Marvin Harrison with the receiving core. Last year together, 185 receptions, 2,900 yards, 30 touchdowns. Then at the running back position, even though Travion Henderson was hurt at the end of the year, if he had been healthy, things would have probably been different in the Georgia Dome against Georgia. And the Buckeyes probably would have went on and won a national championship, because he's that type of special talent. But with Mr. Henderson leading the way, with Mr. Hayden following him, and Mr. Williams in the backfield, they had 2,042 yards last year, 25 touchdowns. And Cave Stover became one of the best tight ends in the game. 36 receptions last year, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns. The bottom line, Mr. Logan Landers, Cal McCord, all he got to do is let the game come to him, and then he's going to be one of them next great quarterbacks for the Buckeyes. Defensively, the Buckeyes, the last 2 games that we remember, the Buckeyes defense, you gave up 87 points to Michigan and Georgia. But last year, you improved almost an extra, giving up 50 yards per game under Mr. Jim Knowles. The stars, Jack Sawyer, Steele Chambers, Tommy Eckenberg, Michael Hall, Ty Hamilton, Dezell Burke, Lathan Ramson, and Josh Proctor. All you have to do on defense is be stars. The Buckeyes are going to roll heavy on Saturday.
Let's flip the script. Let's talk about these Hoosiers. What can they do to get a potential upset this upcoming Saturday? See what they can roll with. So Indiana, obviously, they're coming into this matchup as the underdog. They have a lot of fresh faces on both sides of the ball. Of course, you got Taven Jackson, brand new quarterback. Interesting to see what he can do. Great recruit over there, working out from, of course, Tennessee and doing work over there. But looking at this team, like I said, the receiving core, they've got some solid players all around. You got Cam Camper, who's going to be coming on back after tearing his ACL last year. Like I said, he looked solid, though, in the time he did play. But like I said, Indiana, I think they're going to have to really just pound the rock. And also, I think they're going to have to win the clock battle as well. If you're going to win these games, especially when you're underdog, what you have to do is you just have to drain that clock. That is a key factor. A lot of teams, I think, if they're trying to go for an upset, they try and rush, get as many points as you can, which is a good option, but you got to win the clock game if you're going to get it going. I think Indiana has some good talent to do so. I'm excited to see how Taven Jackson can do at the quarterback position. Offensive line, it has been a strength in years past. Here recently, it's been a little bit off. We'll see what we can do. Of course, you have some guys coming back. Matthew Bedford as well. You're getting a transfer from UMass with Max Longman. So I think that the Indiana Hoosiers, their offensive line, just protect your new quarterback. Obviously, he's going to have his nerve, going to have some jitters, but as long as you can keep him upright, I think they'll be all right. Going into the backfield, you have some pretty good talent there. You have Christian Turner. He's coming off back-to-back 500-yard seasons and 12 scores. You also get another transfer in the form of Josh Henderson from North Carolina. Of course, Jalen Lucas showed some good flashes as well. So I think this offense, what they can do is they can be pretty solid, but I'm just curious. I'm curious to see how they're going to gel in week 1. Over on the defense, I think this is going to be where the weaknesses kind of shine through. You have a ton of new players, a lot of options coming through the transfer portal. And I think, obviously, you're going to get a guy in Andre Carter from Western Michigan who's going to be coming into his 6th season, a guy of a veteran in terms of just the amount of football he's played. He's definitely going to want to help out. You have some other great players as well with Philip Biddy, who's coming over from Texas Tech. That's a good option there, your defensive tackle position. But you are losing some guys, though, some key players. You're not going to have Deshaun McCullough, who's going to be doing work with the Oklahoma Sooners. And you do have Aaron Casey as well, like I mentioned. He's going to be phenomenal. Also, another guy coming in is Jacob Magnum Farrar, coming in from Stanford out there. We're doing work with the Cardinal. But, Vincent, I'm worried about this team in terms of cornerbacks. They've lost Tawan Mullen. They've lost Christopher Keys and a few other guys. Like I said, they have Jameer Johnson and Nick Toomer. They're both some big guys. But how can they do? You got new talent, but how can they fare week 1? That's my only issue with this team is that defense. It's got a lot of questions surrounding it. I'm not sure how it's going to gel in week 1. How do you think Indiana's going to pull off this potential upset?
When you look at the keys for Indiana, let me start with this. I like their head coach, Tom Allen. I think he's done a great job, even though they went 4-8 last year. But over the last few seasons, got them to bowl games, the Hughesers. We all know the Indiana Hughesers being a basketball program. But you're coming into Saturday, and you brought up a good point. I like, young man, the ability to be able to run the ball. Tavon Jackson, he's a freshman, transferred in from Tennessee. And when we have a new guy on the center, what do we want him to do? Don't turn the ball over and play within yourself. One more time, do not turn the ball over, especially give this team, Ohio State, second chances. The running game, Christian Turner, I know him personally, saw him play in high school at Buford High School when he was a true sophomore. It's been a long time ago, been 6 seasons. He started at the University of Michigan, then transferred to Wake Forest, had, as you said, back-to-back 500 yards. He's a player. Jalen Lucas is another guy, 271 yards last year on 49 carries. Josh Henderson, who you brought up, the transfer from North Carolina. The Hughes are going to have to be able to run the football. Defensively, they gave up 33 points last year. I'm looking at Kyle McCord is going to be the new starting quarterback at Ohio State. What do you do with new quarterbacks, especially when they got a lot of great offensive talent that's NFL caliber? You got to get pressure on him. Andre Carter, as you said, 6-year guy coming over from Western Michigan last year, had 7 sacks, 13.5 tackles for losses. Aaron Casey is a linebacker at Indiana's played a lot of football, excellent football player, 86 tackles, 10.5 for loss. But the key to me on Saturday, Indiana gives up 33 points. As you said, they lost a lot of pieces in the secondary. Nick Toomer, Lewis Moore, Nolan Pierre, Miles Jackson. Those guys are going to have to play at a high level because you're going to be facing what I'm saying, looking at Sundays. You want to know what I mean by Sundays? Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be playing on Sundays. Tavon Henderson is going to be playing on Sundays. And probably after the first game, we're going to be talking about Kyle McCord. But I don't think the Hughes have got a lot in terms of slowing the Buckeyes down. At least they run the football. But I'm still taking Ohio State huge in this football game.
Yes, sir. Mr. Turner, any final thoughts? Like you said, I know you gave Ohio State getting the win. Do you have a final prediction or how many points they could win by in this ball game?
I'm looking at it like this. Ryan Day is still pissed off from last year in that play against Georgia down at the Georgia Dome. He's got a new quarterback in Kyle McCord. You know, they on the road going up against Indiana. You know you want to make a statement. I'm looking at Ohio State 52, Indiana 14.
Okay. All right, I'm not too far off with that one. I do have Ohio State winning this bowl game as well. I'm going to go Ohio State 45, and I'll give the Hoosiers 17 in this bowl game. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I think Indiana's going to show some flashes of brilliance, some stuff of what can come later in the year. But I think just coming off rip, first game of the season, I got to go with the Buckeyes to get the win in this one. But we want to hear your thoughts, our fans. What are your thoughts on this ball game? Who's going to win? Drop a final score. Who's going to be the highlight player for either Indiana or for Ohio State? We love to hear it. Once again, drop a comment on our Facebook or on our YouTube channel. Mr. Turner, always appreciate you coming on, talking some college football with me once again. Glad to be back, talking some game previews. Once again, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Hey, enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. Go enjoy some football, and we'll talk to you again on another live episode. We'll